Yeah,
Yes.
good morning. Yeah, you are audible.
Yes.
My voice is clear. Dilip, Guru, Amit,
Yeah,
It's clear.
clear.
Harish, Priya, Puneet, Adarsh, Josna.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good morning, Priya. Thank you.
Audible, sir.
Right. So now, once again, good morning, all of you. Right. So today, right. So today in this session, I'm going to cover about EF core. Okay. So this EF core concept or this EF core comes in .NET. So the quality thought offering one course named as here complete .NET full stack developer. Okay. Now as a part of this course, okay, we are going to cover this EF core. Okay. What is this EF core? Now in this session, okay, this workshop is for 3 days. Now in this 3 days session, okay, today is the first day. Now in this we are going to cover EF core fundamentals first of all. Okay. Now in these fundamentals, first of all, we need to cover what is the purpose of EF core library and how to use this EF core and what is the use of this EF core in the development point of view. So here, by using .NET, what are the different types of applications you can develop? We can develop different types of applications. Among them, two are very important. They are, one is website, the second one is web API. So two types of applications you can develop when you learn .NET full stack developer course. So website and web API. Now let us see the structure of these two applications. The website is developed by using .NET full stack. In the .NET full stack, there is one library named as ASP.NET MVC core. By using this, you are going to develop a website. So by learning this MVC, okay, you can become a web developer. Okay, you becomes a complete web developer. Right. Next, whereas when you learn web API, it is by using ASP.NET web API core. If you learn this web API, you becomes web API developer. Right. Now, in these two applications, okay, we are going to use this EF core. In the website, we are going to use EF core, and in the web API core, also we are going to use this EF core. EF core comes into the picture in these two types of applications. Now, we need more clarity about the use of EF core in these two types of applications. So for that purpose, first let us understand the application structure of website and the application structure of a web API. Okay, let us see. Now, theoretically, a web application, suppose if we take this web API first, okay, a full stack means a complete application, okay, or a full means here complete skills related to a development of which one? Web. So complete skills related to the web development, right? Now, in the full stack is connected with the web development and it is divided into two parts mainly. front end and back end. Now, here, this front end and back end. The front end means it is UI development, and this is by React or Angular, React.js or AngularJS. Okay, it's not AngularJS, it is Angular. Earlier it is called as Angular. Next, backend. So this backend is by this one, Web API. So REST Web API developer, it is called as a REST Web API. So the backend is developed by using a Web API. The Web API library we are using here, ASP.NET Web API core, remember. Now, as a part of this Web API application, you need to deal with the data access layer, that is database logic. That is also very important. Now, this REST Web API is developed as a part of this full stack by using a library called ASP.NET Web API core, whereas database logic is developed by using EF.core. So here the EF.core comes into the picture. That is, when you are going to develop the database logic, you are going to use EF.core. Okay, and this EF.core is going to be called as ORM library, object relational mapper. Okay, next. Now let us draw one diagram related to this one. Okay, right. Now, as a part of our applications, either it may be a website or it may be a web API, every application generally contains a database, because every application need to preserve the data, okay, permanently. Okay, so to preserve the data permanently, we need to use database softwares. So that database softwares are divided into different types. So among them, there is one database, one category called RDBMS softwares, relational database management systems. So every project, okay, uses one RDBMS software. Okay, so what is meant by this RDBMS software? Means a DBMS software which stores data in the form of tables, that is called RDBMS software. So it means here series. Yeah, good morning, thank you. So here, assume in the RDBMS, okay, we have some tables. This is the basic, some tables, okay, one or more tables, right? Now, this is called data layer, remember. This is called data layer, right? See, when you are developing the applications, they are like entire architecture. See, DBMS means it is a concept, it is not a software. Okay, DBMS is a concept. Okay, it is not a software. DBMS concept is implemented by different vendors, and they designed the softwares named as SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, Portuguese SQL. These are all different types of RDBMS softwares designed by different companies. Okay. Now, see, we have MongoDB. For example, I'm giving more clarity. MongoDB, which stores data in the form of objects. For your better understanding, it is not about. See, now we are talking about RDBMS only, right now. Now this RDB, any application stores data in the form of or by using tables. Okay. Now the tables means relational. Remember that table is called as relational. Okay. So any application which contains or which uses a RDBMS software, that is called as data layer first. Now this tables stores data, and we need some logic to create the tables, to insert the data, I mean to manage the data. That is because we want to add the new data, you want to delete the data, you want to modify the data, you want to search for the data. That is, so we need some logic here. To manage this data. So here it is called data access layer. This is. So it is called nothing but DB logic. Remember. Now this DB logic is nothing but to manage the data which is inside the tables. Okay. I mean add, delete, find, search, so many. Okay. For your better understanding, first I am giving only introduction only. Right. So this data access layer is connected with this database. Okay. Now how this database logic is developed? By using a language called C# plus a library named EF.core. That's okay. So this data access layer is designed by using EF.core with a language called C#. Right. Next, this data access layer is fixed. Okay, it should be made as reusable. Remember that. In a perfect project, this data access layer must be reusable. How it is made reusable? This is also very important because see the most important in a website which is developed by using MVC core, it also requires database logic. Okay, a web API which is created as a part of full stack and front end is with React or Angular. That application also requires database logic. Okay, so database logic is required for two applications. See, a MVC application requires database logic. A web API application also requires database logic. So now you should make this database logic reusable. That is a very important point. Okay, it should not be duplicate. It should be made reusable. How it is made reusable? Okay, two important points. Database logic is created by using EF.core. Okay, with the help of C# logic, C# language, C# plus EF.core. Okay, but how it is made reusable? By using another template called class library. That is, so we can call it as DLL. That is, so you are creating a independent reusable layer. That is data access layer. Now the front end, now this data access layer can be consumed by any another layer. It may be MVC or it may be web API, anything. Now let us come to the full stack. Now this data access layer is consumed by another layer named as web API. Okay, so it is a REST web API. This is another layer. Now this web API accesses this data access layer. Okay, right. Now this web API is created by using which library? By using another library named as ASP.NET Web API core. That is okay, right, clear. But in between these two, one more important project standard I want to add. Here, this data access layer is made allowed to use by this web API. But how it is allowed to use? How it is allowed to use? This is very important point. See, in the project, there is one concept. See, the actual logic is not allowed to use directly. Remember that. Always, you should know one important point about the usage of a logic. Actual logic is not allowed to use directly by any other layer. How it is allowed to use? Simple. Abstract to layer. Abstract to layer means actual logic is not allowed to use by any other layer. Okay, but how it is made available? Axing is mandatory, but actual logic is not allowed to access. How? You need to create a abstract layer over the data access layer. I'm talking about the real application development. Okay. Now, See, you created data access layer by using C# with EF.core, and you made it reusable by making it as a DLL. And over this data access layer, okay, you need to create an abstractive layer. How it is created? Here, when you are creating this data access layer, you need to add one repository pattern, design patterns. This is. So when you created the data access layer in this way, see, create a data access layer using EF.core with C# language and make it as a reusable by making it as a DLL, and provide abstractive layer over the data access layer to other layers. That is how it is possible by making it as a repository pattern. You need to implement repository pattern. So this is the perfect structure of creating a data access layer. Okay, that is not just about writing the database logic. Okay, right. Now this web API using the abstractive layer, it accesses the data access layer. That is a perfect order or case. Okay, you need when you are developing the data access layer. It is not just about the writing the database logic. Okay, next. Now this REST web API are allowed to access by any front end. So here, this front end can be a React application. So this React application contains some internal logic. Okay, they communicates with the REST web API. Okay, so the React application communicates with web API. Web API communicates with the data access layer, and the data access layer communicates with the backend database. This is called full stack application. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 layers, more than 3 layers. Okay, entire architecture. This is okay. So now, what is the benefit of using of this web API? Now this is React application. Okay, suppose I created a Windows application. See, this React application is for public. Just assume. Okay, just take one example of any e-commerce application. Okay, for example, like Big Basket or any Amazon. So assume these are the backend tables. Okay, where the e-commerce application data is stored. That is accessed by using data access layer, which is created by using EF.core. Okay, that is our today's topic. This data access layer is consumed by web API. Web API is accessed by a website which is created by using React application. Right. Now, what is the purpose of this website? This website is for public. Okay, right, clear. But now, second point, in that e-commerce application, every day data need to be modified, right, wrong? Every day the data need to be modified. Now, who modifies the data in an e-commerce application? Okay, the data is modified by the employees of that company, right? So you need an application which modify. You need an application which is used by the employees of that company, right? Okay. So that application is not for public. It is only for employees of that company. So for that purpose, you can create just a Windows application which is installed only on the systems of employees of that company. Now the employees of that company, see, this Windows application is for employees of that company, remember, right? Now the employees of that company need to modify this data every day. Okay, the prices, images, discounts, offers, sliders, so many. So how they are going to now this Windows application access this web API, right? So here see the front end can be anything, back end is always same. So this is the benefit of web API. Okay, so any front end application can access the web API, but here not any one rule is there. That is a HTTP client. Remember that. Okay, this is a HTTP client. This also should be an HTTP client. What is meant by an HTTP client? A client program which is able to raise a request and which is able to receive a response by using a protocol called HTTP. That is, so any program written by any language, okay, it should be able to handle request and response according to HTTP protocol. That is called HTTP client. Okay, now, so here, now anyway, in this way the application is going on. Suddenly the management, okay, they want to release mobile app for the mobile customers. See, this is website. React application is a website. This is for which type of users? Because the website is suitable for desktop and laptops only, right? Whereas the Windows application, this is for employees. Now for mobile users, you need to create a mobile app. So mobile app is created by using Android or iPhone. So two more mobile apps need to be created. One mobile app for Android users and one mobile app for iPhone users. Okay, so two different mobile apps. Now these mobile apps also wants the same data. Okay, so this Android app is connected to Web API and iPhone is also connected to Web API. Whatever may be the front end, okay, the back end is always Web API, and this Web API uses the same data access layer. This data access layer is created by using EF.core and which is built with the help of C# language using repository pattern, and it is made reusable by using DLL, okay, class library. So this is the final structure of a project, a .NET full stack application. Okay. Now here one important point: this React is not a part of .NET. Okay. So this React is not a part of .NET. Suppose you created one more application. Just assume a website by using ASP.NET MVC. Okay, a website. Because a website can be created by using not only by React, you can create by using MVC also. Now, this MVC also communicates with the backend web API. Okay, that is. So, so here, any type of application which is able to raise a request and receive a response, okay, according to HTTP protocol, they called as HTTP client programs. They can communicate with the web API. Okay, so this is the basic skeleton of a application. So here, our today's topic is EF.core. EF.core is concerned with the data access layer design. This is okay, right. Now, here one complexity. Okay, I will. This is okay first. Okay, assume this RDBMS is a SQL server. Okay, that company using a RDBMS package called as SQL server. Okay, fine. Now suddenly they want to move. They want to replace this SQL server with MySQL. Okay, right. Now, what is the problem? This data access layer is designed. This data access layer is designed by considering the database as a SQL server. So that what happens is this if this data logic is designed in such a way that it is dependent on SQL server, then what happens? Whenever this database is changed, automatically this data access layer also need to be changed, because this data access layer is designed in such a way that it is dependent on SQL server features. Okay, but to make this data access layer independent, okay, see this one. Suppose suddenly this SQL server need to be replaced with, for example, MySQL. Just assume this is. Now the MySQL is also an RDBMS which contains tables. Okay. Now right. So now by some due to some reason, okay, the management wants to change this, replace this SQL server with MySQL. Okay. Now here the important point is this change should be implemented with minimum modifications. That is, okay, whenever some changes occurred in the real time, it should not affect the remaining layers. That is very important. In one layer, if changes occurred, it should not affect the remaining layers. In such a way, you need to design. That is called a best design always. See, this is view layer. Okay, whatever the front end, this is called view layer. Remember that. These are all comes under view layer. So this is a back end. Okay, this is data access layer. This is data layer. Okay, now we are making the changes in the data layer. The changes in the data layer should not affect the data access layer. And whenever you change the database, okay, with the minimum modifications, you need to include this MySQL as a part of the project. So how to do that? That is also one of the important key point while designing the data access layer. Okay, that is one point. Now, so now to achieve or to create a data access layer. So now first, what is the purpose of EF.core? That is, first you got the clarity. The purpose of EF is creation of data access layer. That is a important point. Okay. So now what is EF.core? It is a library. Okay. Library means what? It is a collection of classes. Okay. Or it is a collection of classes and others. Okay. Not only classes, there are so many interfaces and all. Okay. So what is the purpose of this EF.core? Okay. So EF.core is used to generate data access layer. Right. To generate data access layer. Okay. Next. Now, this EF.core, see, in the .NET, there are two versions, core and non-core. Present right now, we are working with .NET 8. Okay, .NET Core is platform independent. Remember that. It works on Windows, Linux. Okay, right. Now, what is meant by generating a data access layer? You should understand this point. Without understanding this point, you cannot develop the logic by using EF.core. Okay, so here let us come back to this diagram once again. In this entire application development, what is the first step? You need to collect the data from the real world and you need to apply normalization on that real world, and finally tables need to be created. Okay, that process is called normalization. Okay, once the data collected from the real world, okay, data modeling, it is called data modeling. After data modeling, okay, now for the real world entities, applying the normalization, you are going to create the tables. Okay, so the first step is creation of in the generate data access layer. Okay, in the database logic, what is the first step here? Writing the database logic means what? Writing the data access layer means what? First, you should understand this. Okay, now first you need to create tables, because without creating the tables, you cannot insert the data. Without inserting the data, you cannot modify, right, wrong? So creation of tables means what? Okay, how you are going to create the tables? Where you are going to create the tables? Creation of tables is inside the database, right, wrong? In a RDBMS software. EF.core supports Windows and Linux both. Yeah, you can work on Windows and you can work on Linux also, right? Right. Now, creation of tables. Okay. See, without understanding these points, you cannot use the EF.core very effectively. First, you should understand what is meant by data access layer generation and what are the different types of steps involved in the database logic development. So for any project, first you need to create the tables. Okay, how the tables are created? That is important point. Tables are created by using a language called SQL, structured query language, because any RDBMS, okay, responds only for SQL. For database to database, the SQL changes. For Oracle, there is one SQL. For SQL Server, there is one SQL. For MySQL, there is one SQL. All are seems to be similar, but not same. Remember that. Okay. So first you need to create the tables. Okay. What type of tables they are? That is one important point. You need to create multiple tables. So when you are creating the tables, you need to think about the schema. Schema means here structure. Okay. The structure of the table. Okay. What is meant by the structure of table? See, here, when you are creating the schema, okay, you need to identify the primary keys and you need to identify foreign keys and you need to implement some sort of constraints on the columns. That is. So some schema need to be, okay, you should know because you need tables, normalized tables. Remember that. So that you need to create the relation between the tables. Okay. And you need to implement some rules and declarations on that tables data. They are called as constraints. So when you are creating a table means creating schema. What is meant by schema? Here the structure of the table schema means. What is that structure includes? The structure includes specifying about the primary key, specifying about the foreign key, specifying about the constraints which are applied on the columns and even okay and creating of index. Okay, right. So these are all very important. Now so here the first step is you need to create the tables, not one table, multiple tables, right? And right. Next, once the tables are created, you should use Oracle also, no problem. Okay. But the Oracle, it should see the worth of Oracle is different, the worth of SQL Server is different. Remember that. Because, okay, for better understanding, I will tell you in a simple way. When you purchase hosting, for to deploy your application, okay, SQL Server, MySQL, and MS Access are provided by the hosting companies. Okay, no one will provide the Oracle. Okay, by default, because very simple. Oracle is ERP. Remember that. Okay, its worth is it's very big one because your project should require that Oracle. Remember that. Okay, so it is just like your project should demand it. Remember, I mean, for your better understanding, I will tell you in a simple way. Your capacity to suppose can you see as a pet? Okay, you can use a dog, right on. You can use a cat or you can use a rabbit, right on. Okay, dog like, but no one will use the elephant as a pet, right on. Why? Why? The simple point is the maintenance cost, right or wrong? So the Oracle maintenance cost is also too heavy. So really, if you want to use elephant, your work should demand elephant. Remember, that is the point. Okay. See, the work of elephant is different. The work of a dog and horse and a donkey is different, right or wrong? That is. So the maintenance cost of Oracle is too heavy. Remember that. Okay. So that's why generally SQL Server and MySQL, these are all very popular when compared to this Oracle and this one. And the maintenance is very easy. and even the hosting providers also provides MySQL and SQL Server and MS Access file databases. Okay, I mean by default, right? Next, after that, so the first step of database logic generation is creation of tables. For this creation of tables, you should learn SQL. This is the first problem. Okay, developer point of view, I'm explaining the points. You need to write this database logic. Okay, we are completely concentrating on this one right now. We are not concentrating on this front end part, web API part. Okay, so what is the first problem you are facing? You need to learn SQL to create the tables.
Database, .NET workshop.
Right. Okay, so SQL, you are a C# developer, right? So you learn C#, you are comfortable with C#. Now, for your requirement called creation of tables, okay, now you need to learn SQL. SQL syntax is different and SQL changes from database to database. Okay, Oracle SQL is different, similar, but not same. Okay, that is very important. So as a C# developer, are you ready to learn one more language? No, that is because I always I feel I want to learn, I want to do any work with minimum, right? Okay, even though it requires, but internally I want to complete all my work with minimum steps, right? So as a C# developer, I'm not comfortable with SQL because the C# syntax is different and SQL syntax is different, right? So once the tables are created, what next? You need to write a logic to manage the data. Okay, what is that? The logic to manage the data. What is that? In the same, again, that is also by using again SQL. Okay, what is that? The SQL contains the statements like see here, insert, okay, delete, okay, update, right, select. These are all. Or even sometimes you are going to write stored procedures also. Right. So again, all these are all by using SQL. So to write the database logic also, again you need to write, again you need to learn SQL. So the insert command, delete commands, update, select, and stored procedures, functions, okay, triggers. These are all you need to learn. Again, it is a big process for a C# developer because C# developer is not convenient with SQL, and the SQL changes from database to database. Again, it is a big problem, right? So now our first aim is avoid this SQL. What is our first aim? Avoid this SQL. That is okay. So now the first step here is avoid this SQL. Okay, everything by using C#. Everything by C# because you are a C# developer. Okay, whatever the database logic you want to write, that should be by C# only. But RDBMS software understands only SQL. So you cannot avoid that. You cannot ignore that. Because if you are using SQL Server, okay, you should know TSQL. If you are using Oracle, you should know SQL Plus. So in that way, if you are using RDBMS, okay, you should use SQL. But learning of an SQL and using that SQL as a part of our database logic is a little bit, it creates heterogeneous systems. Heterogeneous system means C# .NET plus SQL. .NET plus SQL means .NET syntax is different, C# syntax is different, and SQL syntax is different. So two different syntaxes need to be integrated in one particular source code. So in one source code, using of two different syntaxes is a complex one. And your application development point of view also, okay, it becomes a little bit complex you should be aware about two logics, C# syntax and database also. Okay. So now what is our aim? Everything should be by C#. That is a very important point. Everything should be by C#. Now, how to achieve the database logic generation by using C#? Okay, that is possible. That is made possible by using this EF.NET. Okay, entity framework. Okay, or earlier, I mean the common name is called ORM frameworks, object relational mapper. Okay. Remember this is so. See, in every technology, in Python, in Java, and in .NET, in every technology, ORM frameworks are there. Okay, in every technology, right? Because they are very much important nowadays. Okay, the total entire application logic, database logic is by ORM frameworks only. Now the ORM framework in .NET is in .NET. The ORM framework is or the ORM library is EF.NET earlier. This EF.NET is a platform dependent. Okay, means it works only on Windows. And later they released one more ORM framework, okay, which is platform independent. That is called EF.core. That is platform independent, which works on Windows and Linux. Okay. Now, see, still we need more clarity on the functionality of this EF.core. What exactly the EF.core performs, or the EF.NET performs, or a ORM framework performs. Okay, what exactly? Let us see the functionalities. Okay, see, what is the first step in the project development? Creation of tables. Okay, now the creation of tables as a C# developer. Okay, you are comfortable with oops, right? Wrong? You are going to create classes, class name, right? Now, understand the meaning of this ORM, object relational mapper. Okay, here relational means table. Okay, object means C# objects. Okay, objects mapped with relational means table. That is so. O means here object. R means relational means table. Okay. Now map means the mapper. Mapping between the objects and table. That is. What is the meaning of this one? Again. Now let us see. Now let us take one e-commerce application. Okay. Now let us identify how many tables are there. Okay, in an e-commerce application. Now, in an e-commerce application, all the products are divided into different categories, right? So category table is required, right? Wrong? Because we need to store the category data. Okay. Next, different products. To store the products data, we need a product table, right? Next, these products you are going to apply, you are going to offer discounts, right? Wrong? So discounts table or offer table, right? Next, these products are purchased by customers. So to store the customer data, customer table is required. Now customers raises order towards the products. So we need order. Okay, order and series, order details. Okay, and orders are delivered to the customer's home, right? Offline orders and online orders. So that's why delivery details, right? Now in an e-commerce application, I mean in the e-commerce company, okay, employees will be there, right, Ram? So to store the employee data, employees table is required, right? Now, next, and after that, let us see. So these are all the different tables which are mandatory to store the data in an e-commerce application, right, Ram? So minimum tables, right? I'm not going with the complete tables, just minimum tables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tables. Minimum, at least. Worst case, 8 tables, right? Now, so your first logic is creation of 8 tables, right, Ram? What is your first functionality? Creation of 8 tables, right? Now, 8 commands are required, right? And we have some relation among these tables, right on? Because every product belongs to a category, right? And the orders contains products data and customer data. And on some products, we are going to offer discounts, right? In that way, these are all related, right? So, next, what is the second step? Now, on each table, if you take this category, okay, now you need to add new category, right? Sometimes you will add a new category, right? Right. Next, or I want to change the category details, edit category, because I want to change the category name, right? Or I want to change the category name according to search engine optimization, because when the user searches, okay, the category links also should come in the search engine results. So the product names and the category names should be according to in the real world, should be according to SEO, search engine optimization. Okay. So edit the category details. Sometimes I want to delete the category. Okay. Sometimes I want to see, okay, how many categories are there in my list, in my application. So here, list the category. Okay. Next, I want to search one category is there or not. Okay. Find the category. So these are the logics related to the category, right? How many logics relate to the category? 5 logics, right? Now, just it is about only category. How you are going to write these logics? For every logic, you need to write SQL. To add data into the category table, you need to write an insert command, okay, update command, delete command, select command, okay, and this is also a select command for search. So these 5 operations are implemented by using 5 SQL statements. So you need to see, to create a table, you need SQL. Okay. To implement these logics, you need SQL. Right. So 5 logics per category. Now what about the product? Again, we need for product also add a new product, edit new product, sorry, edit existing product. Next, here delete the product. Next, list the products, and here next, find the products, search for the product, right? Or find or search. So again, the same minimum 5 operations for product. So in that way, okay, these five operations need to be repeated for every entity. I mean for every table. So 5 operations. Okay. See, for every table, we need 5 operations, right? For every table, we need 5 operations. So creation of 8 tables, and minimum operations. These are. But when it comes to the business logic, you may need to create 5, 10, 20 operations also. It depends upon your requirement. Okay. So the minimum 5 operations for your better understanding, because maybe you don't know about the total internal domain requirements. Okay. That's why explicitly I'm explaining. Okay. Abstractly. So minimum 5 operations are mandatory for every table. So how many tables? 8 tables. For each table, okay, 5 database operations. Okay. So total operations, that is 8. We have 8 tables, 8 into 5. So totally, you need to write 40 operations, right? So 40 operations means 40 functions. 40 functions you need to write. That is nothing but our database logic. Okay. Now, so here writing the creation command for 8 tables and 40 operations for each table, 5 operations minimum, that is. Okay. Now, suppose in a project, okay, generally these are just minimum tables of this application. But if you take an ERP for a complete e-commerce application, sometimes you need around 40 plus tables also. 40 plus. If it is a complete ERP, you need around 40 plus tables also. Okay, right. So 40 tables means 40 creation commands and 40 into 5. How many logics? Suppose if a project is with 40 tables, just assume. Okay. So if a project is with 40 tables, then 40 tables creation logic and 40 into 5 means 200 database operations. That is. So writing that much logic is highly complex for a developer. That is, it takes lot of time to implement that operations. Okay, lot of time. That is. So how to minimize this entire logic? That is very important. Okay, how to make this logic? How to make this more productive? That is. So this logic is performed by EF.core automatically. Okay. So you can say EF.core is a data access layer generator. Remember. Okay. It generates the total entire database logic automatically. Automatically. That is. Okay. So in a simple word, if anyone asks what is EF.core? Simple. It generates the entire data access layer. Entire data access layer. Okay. Now, first of all, here our requirement is creation of tables and creation of database operations. Right. Now, to perform these two things, okay, you need SQL. To create a table, we need SQL. To perform to write the insertion deletion logics also, we need SQL. But EF.core, all these are performed by using C# only. You no need to write it. To create a table, you no need to write SQL logic. To insert some data into the table, you no need to write insert logic, or you no need to use SQL. Just use C#. That is how. Let us see one by one. More clarity now. So first you got a clarity. Here the main creation of tables logic and creation of database logic. For these two, we need SQL, right? And these commands are consumed by C#. So while C# consuming this database logic, I mean SQL logic, SQL syntax is different and C# syntax is different. So mixing of these two it forms a heterogeneous environment. Remember that. Heterogeneous means opposite. Okay, different. So suppose see, I will explain this concept in a simple way. A letter is there, a letter, okay, which is written by using English. That is very easy to understand. Every line is written by using English. So when you are reading through the text of that letter, your mind works internally according to the English grammar, right or wrong? So your mind should recollect about English vocabulary and English meanings and English syntax, tenses and all grammar, right? That is. Suppose in that letter, one line is by Tamil, one line is by English, again one line is by Tamil, again one line is by English. Suppose if you are going through that letter, your mind should work in two different ways. One as a, you need to remember Tamil vocabulary, Tamil words and their meanings, their syntax, their grammar. Okay, then only you can understand the meaning of Tamil line. And at the same time, when you are reading through English, in your mind, you should contain English vocabulary, their meanings, English grammar, then only you can understand English line. So is it comfortable to read an English letter or is it comfortable to read a letter which is composed with of Telugu English sentence and Tamil sentences? Which is comfortable? Any one, either Tamil or English. Mixing of two languages always makes complex, right or wrong?
Correct.
Now here also, the C# and SQL, you mix it both. So that what happens? C# compiler and SQL compiler. SQL compiler is at the database side. C# compiler is at the front end. Okay. So two different, right? So the developer mind should consider the two syntaxes together while writing the logic. It is a little bit complex. You need to remember the C# syntax and you need to remember SQL syntax. Okay. If any one mistake is happened while developing, while mixing that code, it leads to the failure of the total logic. One mistake, one colon or one comma is enough to fail the entire logic. One comma is enough. One comma. Okay, one character is enough to break the entire logic. So we need a homogeneous logic, okay, to interact with the database. What is that homogeneous logic? You are a C# developer. So we are comfortable with C#. So our requirement here is in our project, the entire data access layer should be developed by C# only. That is the point. Okay, which includes creation of tables, which includes database operations, okay, and all. Right. Now, let us understand the steps very clearly. Okay, more. Now, let us take these tables once again. What exactly the data access layer generator? Now, here we have a table. Okay, let us take this table first. Okay. This is table created by using SQL, right? Now, as a C# developer, you are going to create class. That is the point. Instead of table by using SQL, you are going to create a class category. That is okay. Class category by using which language? It is by using C#. That is. So first, this problem is solved. Creation logic, creation of table. Instead of creating table, I am going to create a class. Problem solved, right? But how the creation of a class is equal to the creation of table? That is another functionality. First, we are going to solve. Okay, to create the tables, you are using SQL. Okay, and you need to create that command by considering the backend database. So you should be aware about the SQL logic perfectly. Now, as you are a C# developer, you are comfortable with C# and you are very well versed with creation of classes. So create a class instead of creating a table. So create a class. The creation of class is equal to the creation of table. That's the first step. Okay. Second step, what the table contains. Okay, what the table contains. The table contains rows. Okay, the table contains rows and columns. Now, in C sharp, rows here. Now, what is the purpose of these rows? See, showing the directly the example is a little bit not understandable, because first you should know the functional steps. Okay, which steps are converted into a programming language, into a program. Okay, first you should know, because here creation of class is one step. Okay, in the next coming sessions we are going to see all these things, because first you should know what are the steps involved in this entire flow. Okay, it is not just about one example, right? If you are writing an example, first you should know why you are writing that example, what you are doing in that. Okay, that is the point. So creation of a class is equal to the creation of table, right? Next, what next? Rows. A table contains rows. Now, rows contains data, right? Wrong? The rows contains, see, rows is a collection of individual rows, right? In a table, any number of rows can be added, right? Suppose if a category table is there, if 10 categories are there, 10 rows need to be created, right? If only one category is there, only one row need to be created. So a table is a collection of rows. That rows contains individual rows. Okay, each row contains one particular entity data, right? That is. Now, suppose if the category table, it contains one row contains one category data. Suppose if the product table, okay, it contains one row contains one product data. Suppose if it is the employee table, then it contains one row contains one employee data. Now, to insert the data, to insert a row, we are going to use the insert command. Now, let us see how it is mapped with the front end C sharp hoops. Now, rows. For a class, we are going to create object. In hoops, for a class, we can create an object. Object stores data, right? Wrong? Object contains data. Now, rows is nothing but a collection of objects. That is. Okay. Rows is nothing but a collection of objects. Collection of objects are created for class. That is the relation between these two. Rows belongs to table. Collection of objects belongs to class. Now what is meant by one row? One row is nothing but a one object. That is, one row is nothing but a one object, right? So now creation of table is equal to creation of class, and the table contains rows. Rows nothing but collection of objects created for a class. One row is nothing but one object. Now, what about the second one? The operations, right? We have 5 operations. Add, these are all. Okay, let us take these operations. Okay, right. Now here, what is the first operation? Add new category, right? For a category table. It is equal to add new category means SQL point of view, it is insert a row, right? Wrong? C sharp point of view, it is nothing but add a new object. That is, okay. Add a new object, C sharp point of view. When you create a new object, okay, when you added a new object, it inserts a row, okay, in the backend table. So you no need to write the insert logic here. Okay, you know how to create an object. To create an object with data and add that object into this collection. Okay, then automatically it creates a row. Okay, so To create a table, create a class. To create a row, create a object. That's all. Okay. In the backend, it adds a row. Okay. So as a C# developer, you are comfortable with oops and you are able to create a class and you are able to create a object. They are well known in the first step of oops, right? Wrong? Right. So you are comfortable with creation of object. When you create a new object, it automatically adds a row in the backend. That is. Next, what is meant by edit? Edit means edit the data of, you need to use update command. Update command updates data of the rows, right? Wrong? Now for that purpose here, modify object data. When you modify the object data, automatically it updates the backend data. That is. Next, delete category. For this purpose, you need to write a delete command in SQL. The delete command in SQL, see this, delete one object. So delete object deletes a row in the backend. So you are performing all the operations on objects, okay, which is very much comfortable to you because you learn the creation of class and objects and everything in the first chapter of C#, right, Ram? So add an object, okay, it creates a new row. Modify the object data, it modifies the backend row data. Delete the object, which deletes a row in the backend. Next, list. List means here you need to write a select command. So here read all objects data. That is right. Read all the objects data. That is nothing but equal to the select command. Right. Next, find. Find is also nothing but again the select command. Okay. Read specific objects data. Okay. Only specific objects, not all the objects. Okay. So now the database logic is created by C#. How? If you want to create a table, create a class. If you want to perform the database operations, perform the operations by using objects. That is. So you are comfortable with the classes and you are comfortable with the objects. You no need to learn the SQL. You no need to know about the backend database. Just create the class and work with the objects. Right. Now here 3 points. Once again, category table, category class. No, see, when you are deleting, there are two types of deletes are there. Soft delete and hard delete. Soft delete means data is deactivated. Okay, data is there, but it's not active. Hard delete means it is completely deleted from the backend database. Okay, that depends upon your company requirements. Okay, that is the point. So now here, see. Now, see. Collection of objects and objects. You know how to create an object for a class. Class name object equal to new constructor. That is okay. You know how to create a class. That is also okay. But what about this one? Collection of objects. Collection of objects. Right? Because here rows are there. Equally, you need to create a collection of objects. So this is technically a little bit different. Okay. You need to maintain a collection of objects. How to maintain a collection of objects? That is again one concept in C#. You need to learn that is okay. So first concept here, creation of table and the operations on that table, right? Now let us summarize this. Now let us see this in this diagram. Let us observe this. This is data access layer, right? In the backend, it may be SQL Server, MySQL, or anything. Okay, a table is there. Now, as per our explanation, for every table you need to create a class. Right, wrong? Now, here one more layer comes. This. Suppose here we have a product table. You need to create a product class. Okay. So this product class is mapped with the backend table, because here product table is there, just assume, or category table is there. To represent this category table, okay, a category class is created here. So you are working on class and objects, but see this data access layer connected with the classes, and these classes are mapped with the backend tables. So in this layer, this is another one. This is called component. This is called component. Okay. So it is a, see, for every table, classes are created. Technically, these classes are called as a model classes. Now this application is complete. Okay. So this is a model class. Model class means a class which is equal to the backend table. That is. Okay. In the backend RDBMS, you contains category table, product table, customer table, employee table. So for every table, one class is created through C#. Okay, you are working with class and objects, not with tables and rows. Okay, so when you are creating an object for the class, it creates a row in the backend table. When you delete an object, it deletes a row in the backend table. When you modify one object data, okay, it modifies the relevant row data. When you list the objects data, that objects data comes from the backend table rows. So the table here, the class is, the model class is mapped with the table. Okay. Here the class is equal to table. Remember that. Okay. Now why I'm explaining this concept? When you are creating a table, see, when you are creating the table, what are the operations involved? Series. You need to specify the structure. Okay. How many columns are there? Okay. Which column has primary key? Which column has foreign key? Which column, each column is with different types of constraints and indexing. These are all. Now, what are the different types of steps you are taking, or while creating a table? The same steps you need to consider while creating the class also, because when you are creating class, it creates table. Okay, the information which is required to create a table, all that information should be provided by class also, because to create a table we need a table name. Okay, right. So creation of table means what? Because these are all the individual steps of entity framework. Remember that. Table. What the table contains? Table name. Okay. Table contains a table name. Now, class. Class contains a class name. That is table name. Class name. What the table contains? The table contains columns. Okay. Now the class contains properties. Okay. Right. Now on one column, okay, what are the different things associated? Column contains a name. Now here property contains a name. Remember. Okay, see here. A table contains columns. Okay, what that column contains? Column contains name. And in the same way, here you need to specify property with property name. Okay, next. column contains data type. Okay. Equally, here also you need to specify data type. Next, you need to specify size. And for property also, sometimes you need to specify size. Okay. Next, on this column, you are going to specify constraint. And on this property, you need to specify constraint, right? So in that way, whatever the table what type of table you are expecting, okay, equally to that you need to create a class. Okay, class, table name. What type of table name you are expecting, you need to provide such type of class name. I want a table with a name called product. Then you need to create a class name product. Okay, right. I want a column with product number. Okay, here you need to create a property product number. Okay, so it's data type and its size, its constraints. I want the product ID to be as primary key. Okay, in SQL you specify all these things, but in C# how you specify all these things? That is the main question here. Okay, why I am not entering into the example? Because these are all your requirements. See, in SQL you specify create table, table name, okay, column name, data type, okay, primary key. So some syntax is there. But in C#, okay, how you are going to specify all these things which are equal to SQL? Okay, these are not that syntax are not available in the regular hoops. In the regular hoops, you know only one thing: class name. Okay, and the data type and property name. That's all. But you don't know how to specify, okay, a class which is equal to table. Okay, so you need some extra knowledge how to configure a model class which is equal to table. Regular class is not equal to table because the regular class contains just class name, variables only, right or wrong? But your requirement is you need to create a class which is equal to table. Okay, table means table name, column. Okay, I mean multiple columns, each column with name, data type, size, and constraint. In the same way, you need to specify here also. This is called configuring a model class. This is called configuring a model class. So it is, see, in OOPS just you learn how to create a class and you learn how to create properties. That's all. But you need to configure this class equal to a table. Okay, that is, you need to specify. See, this column is primary key, but how you specify this property is primary key, right? So here this column is not null. How you specify this property is not null? In OOPS, it is not available, right? So here the EF.core functionalities are creation of model classes. Okay, which are equal to tables. Okay, so creation of model classes is nothing but creation of classes, but they should be equal to table, right? They should be equal to the backend tables. So you should know the second step, configuration of model classes. What is meant by configuring the model classes? Making the structure of class equal to table. That is. So how to configure a model class? That is very important step because you are ignoring the SQL. You are avoiding the SQL. So your C# class should be equal to a backend table. Okay, but how it happens? In all aspects, your class should be equal to the backend table, right? It should contain everything. It should contain primary key instructions. It should contain all the constraints, all the validations, so many, right? So next, after that, what is the next requirement? Here, see here, rows. Okay, you need to map one row with one object. Okay, so the third step is mapping. Okay, right. If the backend table contains 10 rows, then in the front end 10 objects need to be created. If the table is empty, okay, the collection of objects also should be empty. If the table contains 10 rows, then 10 objects need to be created. If the table contains 1000 rows, then 1000 objects need to be created. That is very important point. So it is mapping, because if the first object is deleted, first row need to be deleted. If the second object is deleted, then second row need to be deleted. But how it happens? Okay, how see, when you deleted the first object, how it is deleting the first row in the table? It means first object is mapped with first row, second object is mapped with second row, third object is mapped with third row. So who performs that mapping? So again, mapping information, that is. Next, once the mapping is happened, what about this one? Logic, add logic, modify logic, delete logic, read logic, and this, I mean, multiples of different types of read logics, delete logic. So next one is database logic. That is, these four are generated automatically by EF.core. Okay, it creates the model classes. It creates, you need to configure the model classes. You need to perform mapping, and you need to generate database logic. Actually, you need to write these four manually by the developer. Okay, developer should write all these things. Okay, but the EF.core, I mean the EF performs these four automatically. You no need to write one line of code also. That is the point. Okay, so that's why the EF is called as a data access layer generator. That is the point. Generator, it generates everything automatically. It generates classes. It generates mapping code. It configures the model classes. Okay, it creates the database logic. Just only your job is consume these things. That's all, which are generated by the data access layer, means by the EF. Okay, now here, as a project, I mean, in the real-time requirement point of view, in the EF, okay, you should know how to create model classes, how to configure model classes, how to map, and how to generate database logic. To fulfill these four requirements, okay, some technical chapters you should learn. Creation of model classes. It is nothing but just creation of classes, but configuring the model classes. For this purpose, okay, you need to learn two more chapters: data annotations and fluent API. That is, okay. By using these two chapters, you can configure the model classes. Creation of classes, it is just OOPS concept. Okay, class with properties. When you know a class with properties, you can create a class. But to configure a model class, configuring the model class means making the class equal to the backend table, and here validations, adding validation logic also. Remember that. So to configuring a model class means schema related configuration, validations related configuration, both. Okay, right. So these two are added. Schema, configuring the model class means here two things: schema and validation. Remember that, these two. Okay, validation logic and structure logic, two parts. See, now these two are added by using two chapters named as data annotations and fluent API. Okay, these two you need. Next, mapping. Right. Right. Now this mapping is also again by using these two, either fully or partially. Okay, that is. Next, database logic. You no need to write the database logic. Okay, just you need to consume the database logic. Okay, that is provided by EF.core automatically. Okay, but it comes through collections API. Okay, with that you are able to understand about the database logic with the help of collections API. So to manage to understand the EF.core logic effectively, you should have a knowledge about creation of a class with properties. Next, you should have a knowledge about two chapters named as data annotations and fluent API, and you should have a knowledge about collections API, generics and non-generics, and you should have one more, that is link queue, language integrated query, and you should have a knowledge about lambda expressions. That is. So when you have knowledge over all these things along with EF.core, then you can write that generation of data access layer very effectively. That is okay. A perfect data access layer developer should have a knowledge about all these things. That is okay. Right. So now, as per industry, what type of approach you should know? Okay. When you are developing an application, first you need to select a database and you need to create the tables. Okay. That is a regular traditional model. But now a new approach called as a code first approach. You need to learn EF.core. Okay. As per industry standard, code first approach. That is, you need to learn EF.core, okay, using code first approach. Code first approach means code first. Create classes first, don't create the tables. In the traditional model, in the olden days, when you are developing see, you can the latest version of EF.core is 8.0. Okay, that is. The supporting version changes from .NET to .NET. Okay, I will show you. Okay, the EF.core version is 8.0, latest version. So now here, see, you need to learn EF.core, writing the database logic by using code first approach. Code first approach means what? You are going to create the classes first. Okay, according to the classes, tables are created in the database. Okay, so their tables are not created first, remember that. Okay, you are going to create C# classes first. According to the given classes, tables are created in the database. Okay, right. So in the code first approach, first create the classes. Second step, configure the classes. Once configured, you need to add this, you need to ask the system, create tables as equal to the creation of classes. That is important point. That concept is called as migration. That is okay. This is called migration. So today we are going to see up to this. Okay. Now let us it is a SQL Server Management Studio 2014, or you can use 2019 also. Okay. Community edition, it is free. 2014 or 2019, anything you can download. Community edition, it is free, no need of any license. Right. First I will show you how to create a table using Management Studio, but later we will create this table, same table, by using C# without any SQL code. Okay. Now And two more important points. When you are configuring, you need to know about one more concept here, EF conventions. These are also very important. What is this EF conventions? Suppose you not configured the model class, what happens? You created the class, but you not configured. When you not configured, then the entity framework automatically configures it. Okay, according to the conventions. Conventions means when you not specified anything, then it assumes according to the EF conventions. That is the point. Suppose in a table you not specify the primary key. Okay, then a property is selected as a primary key. How it selects one property as primary key? According to the EF conventions. Okay, that is. So that is, you should be aware about the default conventions also. Okay, right. Handling with single table, handling with multiple tables, and in between the tables, you may have different types of relations. ADO.NET is not a ORM framework. Remember that. You need to use SQL. Okay. In the ADO.NET, we have two types of libraries. I mean, two types of mechanisms are there. One is connection-oriented architecture, and another one is a disconnect-oriented architecture. In the ADO.NET, again, sub-libraries are there. And using it, see, in the ADO.NET, you need to use, I mean, you need to use SQL as a part of it. Remember that. Even though data set is there, but it is again with some drawbacks. Okay. Data set, it is not a ORM framework. Remember that. Okay. Right. Next. So time is going on. That's why I will explain the remaining differences later. Yeah. Now, so here you should be aware about this EF conventions also. When you are dealing with one table, it is okay. But when you are dealing with multiple tables, there is a relation between the tables. Okay, like one to one, one to many, and many to many. That is also one important point. When the tables are with relation, okay, you need to create the relation between the classes also. Because one table is one class. Now one more table, one more class. Now between the tables, you have a relation. And in the same way, between the classes also, you should have relation. That is very important. See, one table is equal to one class, or one class is equal to one table. Fine. Now this is table one. This is a class one. Just assume. Now take one more set as it is. Okay. Now this is a table two, and this is a class two. When these two are individually designed, perfect, straightforward, very easy to understand. But in the real time, one table is connected with another table with primary key and foreign key concept. Because suppose in our example, category is there. Category, okay, in a big basket or in Amazon, okay, the products are divided into different categories. In each category, products comes, right? So products data and category data both are connected. So the primary key of category comes as a foreign key in the product table. Okay, when you are creating the tables. So that's why the tables are connected by using primary key and foreign key, because the data between the two tables is related. Now as you are creating the relation between the two tables, you need to create relation between two classes also, because class is equal to table. Now one table is connected with another table in the back end. Now in the same way, the front end class also should be connected with another class. Okay, here assume the table one is connected with table two. Then it means class one also should be connected with class two. How you connect one? How you forms the relation between one class and another class? That is also another concept. And what type of relation it is? Is it one to one or one to many? In one category, there is a possibility to have zero products, one product, and multiple products. Suppose you selected dolls and pulses category. In that, there is no products, empty category is there, but there is no products. Only one product is there, tur dal. Okay, suppose I have tur dal, chana dal. Okay, so many dals and pulses. So one category contains multiple products. So the relation between the category and products is one category, zero products. One category, one product. One category, multiple products. Right? So one to many relationship. Right or wrong? That is. So how to create the relation between two classes? That is also very important concept. Okay. So configuring means that is a very important concept. You should be aware about the total domain data, how the data is organized. Okay, in the real world, how it is normalized. According to that, you need to create, you need to configure the classes. So come back. So here, right click on the database, new database. First, we will work with today one table. Okay, now database, for example, so I'm creating a database named as Big Basket DB. Okay, click OK. This is Big Basket DB. Just expand it. Tables. Any tables here? No. Now right click on these tables. Table. Okay. So table is a collection of columns. So here I am going to create a table called product. First we'll work with single table. Okay. Later we'll add multiple tables. So this is a product ID integer. I don't want to allow nulls for the product ID because every product should be with product ID in the real world. Okay. No product is allowed to exist without ID number. Next, the product name. So the maximum 50 characters. Every product should be with the name. Okay. Next, every product should be with the quantity. This is also nvarchar. Next, price. I'm taking a simple example. Okay. In the next coming session, we'll see little bit complex. Okay. And here it is. Okay. Let us fix it. Now this product ID should be made as primary key. Why? Because no two products allowed to with the same ID, right? So here set primary key and save. The table name is product. Okay, right. So here refresh is product. Now edit. It raises error because I given product ID same for two products. 101, 101. Okay, no two products are allowed to have same ID. Okay. So here, right. Now select this. Right. So now you created this table by using a management studio, right? And you inserted this. And you can use SQL queries to add, suppose, new query. Insert into product values. To execute this. One row inserted. right? And you can modify this. Okay. See, for the product ID 103, the price is 20. Now I am updating price equal to 30, where product ID equal to 103. One row affected. 103 peanuts, 100 grams, 30. It is updated. Right. Right. Now these are the SQL commands. Right. Now you created the table through Management Studio. Okay. There is no any .NET here. Right. Now let us delete this table. Let's refresh here. Any table? No. Now create the same table. Okay. Create the same table through .NET. Okay. Using .NET class. Right. How? Step 1. First, we will go with the basic steps. Take a console application. Step 1. Okay. Visual Studio. File, new, project. C#, all platforms, console. Okay. See which language you need to select. C#, all platforms. Okay. All platforms, select here, console. So two types of templates are available. Okay. See, C# console app, .NET framework, and console app, this one. Okay. Select this console app. C#, Linux, Mac, Windows, and console at the bottom. Select this, click next. It is a very, very fundamental demo. Okay. The basic steps which are required to create a EF.core application. Okay. So enter the project name. Now, which framework we are going to use? This is the key here. Okay. Here, .NET 6 we are going to use, 7 and 8. Depending upon the .NET framework you selected, based on that you need to select the core framework. Remember that. Okay. EF.core 8 is there, but 8 never works for .NET 6. That is very important. See, don't think that always latest is the optimized one or latest is works for everything. No, remember that. Okay. So first select .NET 6. Okay. Now click on create. So there is a basic program, right? Just take this. It is working. Okay. Right. So we don't need this console dot write line. Hello. Leave it. Now what is our requirement? You need to create a table by using EF.core. Right. So step 1, console application. Second step. What is second step here? Create a class. So create a class. Okay. Now go to view, solution explorer, right click, here add class. Okay. This class, see, when you are creating a class, in your mind, you should be aware about the table. Remember that. It is not class. You are creating class, but that class is nothing but a table. Okay. You should be aware about every minute point of a table with respect to the schema and with respect to the validation. Okay. Because if you design the class properly with proper schema and validation, your front end logic becomes very easy. Remember that, because the model class is binded with the view in the MVC. Okay, and next validations. See, in the real world, 50% of the logic is nothing but validations. That validations are made simple by using this one. Okay, creation of model class is nothing but you are creating a model class which is equal to a table. But not only that one, you are adding, implementing validations in it. Remember that, which reduces your logic. Not only that one, when the model class is created properly, your front-end MVC application in the view layer, it becomes easy. Okay. If you create model perfectly, almost remaining 30% of the logic becomes very easy. Remember that. Okay. Because everything depended on model. Right. So now I'm going to create a class called product. Okay, this is class product. I'm not going to use any external configuration here, because first I want to show you how the EF convention works. Okay, now in this enter product ID. Okay, see this one. Okay, now see, it is not the final. First, I'm identifying. So there we created a product class, the product table with 4 properties. So here 4 columns. Now here we need 4 variables. Okay, I mean 4 properties. String name. Next, string quantity, and say double price. But here these are just normal class syntax point of view. Data type and variable is okay, but they are not properties. Remember that. So you need to add public product ID. To this product ID, you can provide a value, and from this product ID, you can get a value. Okay. So for that purpose, you are going to write set and get. That is okay. This is called property. Okay, right. So in the mapping, I told you, see this column. Column is mapped with property. So in the backend database, product ID column is there. That is mapped with the front end product ID property. So public string name set and get. Get. Right. So here the first step, create a class. What is the third step? Configure a class. To configure a class, you need Fluent API and data annotations. At least you need data annotations. Okay. But now in the backend table, okay, when you created the table, you made product ID as primary key, right or wrong? Right? The backend table, you made product ID as primary key. But how to make quantity means here one case, okay, one case, one is numeric and kg is string. So one case 100 ml is string and 100 is numeric. That's why we are using string here. But in the real time, it is a concatenation of 2 things. That is That's why I told you I am going with the minimum tables. Okay. But when you went into the real world implementation, it is a combination of two. Okay. One numeric value and one string. Okay. That requires lot of tables. Okay. But for your simplification point of view, I am taking this one as a string because it holds one case, 100 ml, 500 grams, like that. Yeah. Now, now how to make this product ID as primary key? Okay, here two options. If you are following EF convention, okay, any any property which is with ID, any property which is with a name called ID, okay, its name just ID enough, or class name plus ID. Any property is there in the class with a name ID or class name plus ID, then automatically that becomes primary key. You no need to specify externally it as a primary key. Okay. Now here see it is a product, it is a class name, and it is a postfixed with ID. So class name plus ID. So just ID, that is also okay. See this here. Suppose if it is just ID, that is also okay. Or it is a product ID. If any one of this rule is satisfied, then this property made as a primary key automatically. You no need to specify.
Yeah, hello everyone. Guys, just hold for 2 minutes. Hello everyone. Can you people hear me? Can anyone please confirm?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
logical.
okay. So basically, the workshop, see myself, Anji. So I am the manager of this Quality Thought Full Stack Academy. So you people can reach out to me on this mail ID if you have any questions, or you can give me a call on this number. Okay. See, coming to the .NET workshop. So we'll be giving this workshop for 3 days from 14th to 16th. 16th March. So 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. So after that, from 12:30 to 1, if you have any questions, we'll have a queries discussion. So this will be the program. So the .NET workshop from 14th to 16th March from 10:30 to 12:30 p.m. Okay. So now I'm just going to explain about the process which we are following at Quality Thought Full Stack Academy. So I'm just explaining about the process. So before going to the process, see the program name is, so basically we'll be teaching, so .NET Developer JYP program. It's a .NET Developer JYP program. So in this .NET Developer JYP program highlights, if you see our program highlights, so in this .NET Developer, so we'll be covering C#, the complete C#, then ASP.NET, so EF.NET, Entity Framework.NET, then .NET Core. So the MVC will be covered, MVC controller, and the main thing is Web API. The Web API, so which is a part of REST. So this will be covered, Web API and RDBMS, so relational database management system. So in this SQL server, to communicate SQL server, SQL. Okay. And one sample project on .NET, one sample project. So apart from this, resume preparation will be there. So mock interviews will be there and mega drive will be there. So these all are, the program highlights. See, once workshop is done, so we'll be starting the .NET Developer JYP program from 18th March. So 10:30 to 12:30. Every day the sessions will be 10:30 to 12:30. After workshop, the .NET Developer JYP program will be started from 18th March, 10:30 to 12:30. Okay, in this JYP, so we are going to cover all those things. Then move on to our process. Basically, we'll be giving JYP. One second. See here, the JYP stands for, job-oriented intensive program. The JYP starts for job-oriented intensive program. So this program is mainly for, placements. But to get the placement opportunity in IT sector, so we need to focus on the skill set. The skill set likes, first we need to check your technical skills and you need to check your communication skills, need to check your logical skills. Why? Because nowadays, if you see the interview pattern, the companies are conducting interview like this. If you see the interview pattern, first companies are conducting written test. This pattern, especially for freshers, the IT companies are conducting written test on aptitude, arithmetic and reasoning. So once you clear aptitude test, then they are conducting technical rounds. Some companies are only one round and some companies are conducting 2 rounds. And after that, the final one will be HR round. HR round means, so the final round, in the HR round, just they will check your confidence levels and your educational qualification. So that's it. This is the process nowadays companies are following. Now to crack this pattern, to get the job in IT sector, so, we need to focus on these 3 skill set like technical skills, communication skills, and logical skills. So for that reason, we started this JYP program. So as part of this JYP program, the first fundamental rule, every person has to spend a minimum 6 hours per day. So minimum 6 hours is required. So in these 6 hours, 2 hours technical session every day and 2 hours practical session. The practice makes man perfect. So in the technical session, you people can understand the concept. In the practical session, so you people can, gain the knowledge. After understanding the concept, you need to implement the concept during practical sessions. The practice makes man perfect. So after understanding the concept, if people are able to implement the concept, yes, definitely you are gaining the knowledge. And 1 hour soft skills and 1 hour arithmetic and reasoning. So you have to spend 6 hours per day. So during these 6 hours, 2 hours technical sessions, 2 hour practical sessions, 1 hour soft skills, 1 hour arithmetic and reasoning. Okay. Apart from this, every 15 days, every 15 to 20 days, we'll be conducting, mock test. In the mock test, so we'll be giving technical paper, technical exam will be there, and a communication test will be there. In every mock test, we'll be check 3 things: technical skills, communication skills, and third, aptitude also. So we'll be checking all these skills. Why? Because So after attending the mock test, you people have to understand where you are on subject. So where you are on technical stuff. So what about communication? So what about aptitude? So if you are up to the mark in these 3 rounds, then very good. If you are not up to the mark, you have to get the feedback where you are on technical, communication, and aptitude. Get exact feedback based on that, so you need to improve ourselves. So to improve ourselves means just take guidance from technical panel. Sir, in this mock test, I got only this one. I want to improve. What are the approaches I need to follow? Just check with our technical panel. Based on that, try to improve your skill set from mock test 1 to mock test 2. Like this, every 15 to 20 days, mock test will be there. And end of the course, will be conducting mega drive, which is a placement eligibility drive. So we'll be conducting mega drive, which is nothing but placement eligibility drive. So that means once your course are done, so before going for interviews, first you have to check whether I am eligible for placements or not. So if you are eligible for placements or not, how do you check? Here, how companies are conducting interview, we follow the same pattern. We'll conduct the written test first. So after that, we'll conduct the technical rounds. And we'll conduct the HR round. The HR round will be conducted by our placement team. We have dedicated placement team working for our organization. Our placement officer will take this final HR round and they will finalize the profile. So once you are finalized, then the placement team is coming to the picture. Then we have dedicated, placement team working for this. So if you qualify in the mega drive, your profiles will be added to placement dashboard. Once profiles are added to placement dashboard, then our placement officers, like we have a very senior placement officer, Prasad sir. Okay, so we have a Kranti madam. So Prasad sir working from Amirpet location, our main branch only. Kranti madam working from Madhapur branch. So we have a Raja Reddy sir. So we have Anusha madam. So we have Janardhan. We have Baswant. Like this, we have very senior placement officer. Under each senior placement officer, so some juniors are working. So once you qualify the mega drive, your profiles will be added to the placement dashboard. Once profiles are added to placement dashboard, then our placement officer send your profiles to the companies. Even if you see in our premises, yesterday one company came called Soft, and the company has conducted, drive in our premises. Almost 150 members are attended for the drive. Out of that, so 80 people are, qualified for the second round, technical round. So 80 people clear the written test. So now those people are going to attend the technical round. Okay, like this, every week we are conducting some drives. Companies are coming to our organization and we are conducting drives in our organization only. But companies are asking only skilled people. If your skill set is really strong, that definitely will get the opportunity. Okay, so then move on to the admission cost. Some people are asking what is the admission cost. See, for the .NET, so actual fees is, it's a 30K. The actual fees is 30K. So the duration of this .NET is 3 months. The duration is 3 months and admission cost 30K. But the people who are attended workshop, for them only, so we are giving offer. So we are giving offer price, especially for this Ramjan season, for only this month, for this workshop only, we are giving offer that is only 15K. After attending the workshop, okay, so you people can confirm. So this 15K for the people who are attending workshop, because who are attended, we track all the information, your name, email ID, mobile number, everything will be shared into our drive. So now for the people who attended the workshop, for them only we are giving offer 15K. The actual price is 30K. So you people can attend the complete workshop. It's free of cost. From 18th onwards, we'll be conducting our regular sessions. So that is about admission cost. And so once end of the sessions, so we'll be conducting, the projects also. You can work for projects. So we have some projects going on, like some e-commerce type of e-commerce ERP projects also there. You people can directly work for the projects. So that the same projects you can put in your profiles also. Okay, so that is from our end, guys. If you will have any questions, just let me know. So where located these? See, basically, the quality thought. The institute name is a quality thought. So the quality thought is, it's a 14 years old IT software training and placement. It's IT software training and placement. So here the main branch is Hyderabad, Amirpet. So in the Amirpet, just near metro, if you come to Amirpet metro station, it just beside metro station. Beside metro station, there is a building called Aditya Enclave. Aditya Enclave. Nilagiri block. We call like this Nilagiri block. Aditya Enclave, Nilagiri block. And our plot number is 302 308. So this is our main office. The front office 302, and the classes will be going on for this .NET in 308. Okay, this is the Amirpet. Like this, we have branch at Vijayawada. So we have branch at Chennai location. Even we have one more branch in Hyderabad, Madhapur location also. So this is about address. Okay, so still if people have any questions, please let me know. So classes will online and offline. Good question. See here, the class mode will be, the class mode will be, both. So you can come offline and you can also come online. If people have possibility to come for offline, first priority will be offline only. So you have a face-to-face interaction, and you can do more practice in the lab. You can check with junior faculties, etc. But if you don't have option come or offline, then you can join online. My sincere suggestion is better come for offline if you have the possibility. Otherwise, choose online. Sir, can you tell me morning time, because I have working person. So at the moment we are giving slot from 10:30 to 12:30 only. Okay, if the slot is not suitable, then next after 15 days, one more slot will be there, either morning or evening. We'll intimate that slot. So today's session is recorded. We'll share these recording sessions to you people. So if you join now, you will get the recording. Not only for you, everyone will get the recording. Not only this recording, every day, for every technical sessions will be recording. We'll share all recordings every day. Every day, the technical sessions will be recorded. So you will be getting all technical recording sessions to you people every day without fail. Placement drive. So for placement drives, so sometimes companies are conducting offline. So companies are coming here means you have to come for offline. Some companies are giving online facility also. So that time we'll intimate you before conducting the drive. If company wants offline, you have to come offline. If company wants online, we'll intimate you. You can join online also. So most of the companies are preferring offline. If any online chance is there, we'll intimate you before conducting the drive. It's clear, guys? Okay, so still if people have any questions for more information, so you can contact our senior manager, Anita Madam. Here, I'm just posting Anita's number. So you people can contact Anita for any questions. So you people can reach out Anita on this number. So 74162 36806. So Anita is a course manager for .NET. If people have any questions, you can contact Anita. So even if you want, I will give these contacts number in the chat. You people can contact her. So this is mainly for freshers. Its course is mainly for freshers. Okay. So that's it from our end, guys. Again, tomorrow also we have a same workshop from 10:30 to 12:30. After 12:30, if you have any questions, you can talk to our technical faculty. So if you have still questions, you can reach out to our course manager. So thanks everyone for joining this, and I'm just closing.